With markets swinging wildly from Trump on and off tariff policies, most stocks are struggling to stay afloat. But a few resilient names are quietly defying the chaos and showing strength. In fact, I've spotted 3 defensive Singapore stocks that are not just holding steady, but actually attempting to push higher despite the broader sell-off. Even better, we have just seen fresh bullish signals from my 1GT Pro indicator. Could this be the safe havens smart investors are rotating into right now? Well, let's dive into the charts and uncover which stocks are standing out in this storm. Let's go. So the first Singapore stock let's share with you will be this company called CNMC Goldmine. Has to do with gold, right? So gold is seen as a safe haven asset. Now we are starting to see strength in many of the gold companies, all right? Even gold prices have pushed to a new high. And stocks like gold mining companies like CNMC Goldmine has also started to see some strength. So we have shared this stock with our VIP clients in Phillip Securities. You can check it out. The link's right below the video if you want to find out as to how to get ideas like this much faster by WhatsApp daily. But let's take a look at this stock as to what has happened. You can see for CNMC Goldmine, right? We actually have been pretty boring all the way last year to maybe beginning of the year. So we can actually draw this, resistance level right over here, maybe somewhere around that 35 cents to even that 40 cents. We were pretty much capped below this resistance for most part of last year as it forms what we call a very gentle uptrend in the longer term. So look at the red and blue line, right? The 100 days moving average, the red line is pointing up, blue line pointing up, the red is above the blue. So the longer term trend was actually up since last year, but very gradual, moving sideways, a little bit up kind of thing, right? But over the past 2 weeks, it seems that it's woken up. We have broken what we call the 35 cents resistance level. You can see right over here, we broke 35 cents. Of course, just last week we have Trump announcing the reciprocal tariffs. Everything got hit, even it got hit as well. It went back down below the 35 cents resistance. But over the past few days, well, we have seen a pretty strong rebound. All right, look at this, right? Breaking above the 35 cents, even the psychological 40 cents has given way as well. And if you look at what we call the short-term trend, well, the short-term trend, just by looking at the green 20 days moving average line, it was up since February, and somewhere in March it was boring, right? It was just moving sideways. But over the past 2 weeks, you can see that the green 20 days moving average line has started to slope up. So not too bad, right? I think we could potentially see more upside now that gold is in play. Gold mining stocks like this can actually see more upside momentum. So let me go ahead to see what are some of the upside targets we can deduce right now. So I would say that upside targets could be maybe somewhere around that 50 cents. And what happens is that I have this 1GT Pro indicator based on my one good trend strategy that allows us to get an opinion on any stocks in seconds, right? So let's see what it says for CNMC Goldmine. Does it look bullish? Are we seeing any recent bullish signals? Let me go ahead to just erase everything off, and let's turn on what we call the 1GT Pro indicator right over here. Let's turn it on. Pump. There we go. Let's see, right? So this is CNMC Goldmine, right? So we had a bullish signal somewhere in January, went up from like about 26 cents to about 30 cents, came down a little bit with a bearish signal. But let's take a look at what's happened over the past 101. So we've got 2 bullish signals in March. Pump went up, and a bearish signal when the market sold off, right? But look at this, right? Just last week on the Friday, 11th of April, well, we got a new 1GT bullish signal coming out. Look at this, right? Pump 1, 2, 3, 4. Today we have pushed up even higher. It seems like we are heading towards the 50 cents psychological resistance level as well. So not too bad, right? We have shared this stock with our clients, all right, over the past few days. They started to push a little bit higher. I think targets could be revised from 45 cents all the way to 50 cents. And maybe near 50 cents, we may see some profit taking, which is normal, right? It might just consolidate a little bit, right? Just below that 50 cents, right? A bit of profit taking, that's fine. But the key here is that if we were to break above the psychological 50 cents level right over here, where I think upside targets could be revised even higher, maybe to 55 or maybe even to 60 cents. I think that is where this most recent bullish signal can continue to play out. And what we could do is that we can actually turn on from the 1GT Pro indicator that I have, right? What we call a trailing support level. Let me show you what I do, right? Look at this right up here, pump. Right, so you can see, right, this is a trailing support that just popped out right over here based on the bullish signal that came out on the 11th of April. So this trailing support is this green line right over here. Let me just remove this over here. So this green line, you can see that is following, all right, prices of CNMC Goldmine as it moves up. You can see that it is trailing, it is following it. It accounts for volatility, it gives it space to breathe and to hopefully move higher. So if CNMC were to break the 50 cents and push even higher, well, this green trailing support line will kind of like follow it even higher. So as long as we stay above this, upward moving green trailing support line, I think it looks pretty bullish still. All right, we could potentially still see more up. So pretty resilient, right? Market has been selling down, stocks has been pushing lower, but CNMC Goldmine seems to be pushing higher as well. One of the stocks that we shared with our VIP clients in Philips Securities, you can also watch this stock as well. That is stock number 1. All right, let's move on to the second defensive stock I shared with you today in the Singapore market, and that would be this stock called Sheng Siong, right? Sheng Siong. So there are talks about recession, right? Markets had to sell down last week, and of course Sheng Siong got hit as well. You can see that we actually had what we call a bearish signal coming up because it broke the support, went back down, but you see buyers started to come back up. All right, we are still holding quite well above the red 100 days moving average and the blue 200 days moving average. So the longer term trend remains intact still for Sheng Siong, right? Because even during a recession, people still to buy their groceries and all that, right? So Sheng Siong might still benefit as well, all right? So it has been pretty resilient, right? The short-term trend, just by looking at the green 20 days moving average line, you see, right? It was up since July last year, up, flat, up, and of course, since like November, December, it has pretty much been flat. So not much of a move, but as I say, pretty resilient amidst the market chaos and sell down. It has been holding up really well, right? Selling down when the market sold off last week, but you can see 160, 150, 155 has came out as a pretty good support level by buyers are starting to bargain hunt right over there, right? So I think for Sheng Siong, you can put this stock in your watch list, right? We had some bullish signals coming out somewhere in August, and look at the rally from here all the way up. Well, I think if we can break this very key resistance level, you want to write it down. I think this level is none other than the $1.70. So 170, look at this, right? 170 was pretty much where we were somewhere in 2023 May, right over here, and we sold all the way down after getting a bearish signal as well, bearish, and we went all the way down. So I think right now you can see we are pretty much back to this same multi-year resistance level. We stay below it, you might see a bit of profit taking is still fine, all right, consolidate below it, but I think the key is that if we can break above this $1.70, we go to like 171, 172, 173, I think we would even get a new 1GT, the one good trend bullish signal coming out, and that could lead the next upside, the next phase of the upside momentum, maybe all the way to $1.80, right? So this is Sheng Siong. Yes, we do not have a 1GT bullish signal right now, but it has proven to be pretty resilient. We found some support coming in near that 155 to 160. Short-term trend sideways for now, longer-term trend up. So let's see when the $1.70 resistance gives way. I think that will be even more bullish. We may get a new bullish signal coming out. All right, let's move on to the third and final Singapore defensive stock that you want to put in your watch list, all right, for potentially more upside. So this stock is none other than Singtel, right? Singtel, the code is Z74. So we have shared this stock with clients of ours in Philips Securities, my VIP clients, and it started to push a little bit higher. So you can see that it's pretty resilient, all right? We have actually attempted to move even higher amidst the sell down, amidst the market volatility. So I'll not go too far, but you can see somewhere since May, in fact, we already have a 1GT bullish signal coming out right over here. Somewhere in May, right? That was May last year, of course, before all these tariffs and stuff. We got a bullish signal, another bullish signal in August, went all the way up, and just from this bullish signal all the way to here, well, 34% in about 5 months. And you can see, right, it was rather boring after this bearish signal. It just moved sideways from like about $3 to $3.20. But let me show you what has happened, all right, in the recent months, right? Somewhere around like January, end of January, well, we got a new 1GT bullish signal coming out, and this green 20 days moving average line, look at this green line, was like flat, started to point up as another confirmation. Is it still pointing up right now? Yes, right? In fact, it's still pointing up right now. So the short-term trend still remains up, right? Despite the market selling off, the short-term trend still remains up as of now, right? What about the longer-term trend for Singtel? Wow, looking at the red and the blue line, in fact, since last year, June, right, the longer term trend has already been up, right? It's still up right now, but short term was like, up and then sideways for like, 4 or 5 months. But since January, it has turned up. Now it is still up. So I think it looks pretty good, right? We have this one GT bullish signal coming out. Short-term trend is up. In fact, I think over the past few days, right now, look at it, right? It's about $3.68. It was like 366 just now. I think it is starting to push higher. I'm not too sure when you're watching this video or where could it be, but you can see as I'm talking right now, right, we are actually attempting to break this resistance maybe around the 364, 365 level. Look at this, right? So over the past week, while the market sold off, while we got a high around 364, around 364, 365, but now it is $3.68. So we're actually attempting to push higher, all right, above that 364 to 365 resistance level. So not too bad, not too bad. It seems like, buyers are, coming in, looking around, attempting to buy up more at even higher prices. And if we can even leave off the 370, all right, $3.70, I think good upside targets could be revised higher. Let's see how high it could go. Maybe from here, we could do a little bit of a projection all the way to maybe that $4 to $4.10. I think that could be the upside targets. And what we could do is this, right? Based on this most recent bullish signal, I can turn on what we call the trailing support line pump. There we go, right? So you can see I got the trailing support line pumping out right over here based on this bullish signal that came out in January. So that was before all this tariff that happened over the past 1 to 2 weeks, right? That was before it. All right, in January, bullish signal came out, while a trailing support came out. Flat up, flat up, flat. You can see, right, it follows Singtel as it moves higher while giving it space to breathe. And in fact, last week when the market sold off, look at this, right, it sold off, we actually neared or even went below this trailing support for a while, but we went all the way back up and buyers defended this trailing support level that actually gave it space to breathe, right? That actually accounts for volatility. So not too bad, right? It went down, but there was a long lower shadow, pretty bullish candlestick, I would say, right? Went all the way back up at the day close. So not too bad. And of course, the next day we started to push higher as well. And today we are attempting to break the 365 level. So let's see whether $3.70 will give way as well. If that happens, good. I think this bullish signal can continue to play out. Targets can be revised. $4 to $4.20, maybe to $3.80 first. I think that could be what you can watch as well. Alright, so these are the 3 Singapore defensive stocks that have came in my watch list over the past few weeks, and we have also shared this with VIP clients of mine in Phillip Securities. So if you're currently trading in the Singapore market, I mean you have a trading account and you're not getting much service from your own broker, alright, you just pretty much log into a online platform or trading mobile app and nobody cares about you, nobody sends you any ideas or videos or WhatsApp or trainings, click on it, find out how you can become a VIP client of mine in Phillip Securities for free at no additional cost and get some of those ideas like this much faster by WhatsApp daily. So the link's right below the video. Check out. I look forward to welcome you on board as well. And of course, if you want to find out a little bit more on my one good trend strategy, or perhaps how to perhaps have an indicator like this, the one GT Pro indicator, all right, that can guide us on entry, on exit, when to get in, maybe when to get out when we see a bearish signal, right? Well, attend one of those free webinars as well. The link's right below the video as well. Click on it, register for it. We have one maybe a few weeks time. All right, click on it, and I look forward to share more with you on my one good trend strategy. Joey here. If you got some value as well, you have put this on your watch list, give me a like, hit the follow, subscribe button. I look forward to see you in the next video. Take care.